Did you know that most of the widely believed ideas about Islam are completely false?
Muslims don't like extremist terrorists. That
The
that's
majority of
not what
people,
the Muslim religion is
yeah,
about.
the majority of people that
Period.
ISIS actually kills are Muslims.
Right.
From being labeled a violent religion to oppressing women and also being part of 9/11 attacks by terrorists, Muslims and Islams around the world are going through a lot. But in today's video, we are going to uncover the truth about Muslims and also debunk the 5 biggest misconception about Islam and Muslims. So stick around till the end of the video because you never know what to expect. Let us start with one of the most damaging misconceptions. That is the idea that Islam promotes violence. And although this idea is not only wrong, it also ignores the core teachings of the Quran. For example, Quran chapter 5 verse 32 states that, "For whoever kills a soul, it is as though the person had killed mankind." And this verse highlights the sanctity of human life, which is central in Islam. So when the media continues painting Islam black by promoting things like jihad and terrorism, which are of course not related to Islam, it has an effect on the people that are actually watching and also the religion. And the word jihad never means manslaughter. It is an Arabic word which means to struggle, either spiritually or striving to become a better Muslim. It never says that we should kill people, and all the negative ideas you might have had came across from the news headlines and also anti-Islam TV stations are all not true because they just want to paint Islam and Muslims black, which indeed has to change. And we are going to start changing that by letting you people know that Islam is actually not a violent religion. And in fact, we Muslims are peaceful and we care for other people. The second misconception people have about Islam is that Muslims oppress women. Then again, this has been always what the media is trying to portray to the world, which in fact is not true. Now take the hijab for example. Many people see it as a symbol of oppression to millions and millions of Muslim women in the world, but rather it is a choice, and this is a symbol of faith and empowerment. And I really don't understand why a woman who wears short dresses and walking half naked in the community is actually accusing a Muslim woman for covering herself. Have you also forgotten that when you were children, you were dressed up by your own parents, and now that you are old, you have the chance to make a choice, and you chose to wear those short dresses. Yet when a Muslim lady chooses to wear the hijab and also cover herself, you start to point fingers at that. Come on, this is hypocritical and we can do better. And it is about time for you and me to actually understand that there is no women oppression in Islam. Just as you made the choice to wear your short dresses in public, the Muslim lady also made the choice to cover up herself based on her faith and belief. The third misconception is a funny one, but we have to address it. You know, people say that Islam is a religion for only Arabs, but they forget that only 20% of Muslims worldwide are Arabs, which means that there is other 80% of Muslims, and these people are not Arabs. Have you actually thought about that? Now, when you go to the Arabian countries, although the majority of people there are Muslims, there are Christians, there are atheists and even Jews, and they all live in harmony until someone does something wrong. And the Arabian countries will judge them with Sharia law, which is actually hated by a lot of people in the world. But the Sharia law is just a law, like the European law, which is there to actually punish people who go wrong. And I don't understand why people tag the Sharia law as bad. But the Sharia law is no different from the European law because they both have the same idea, that is to punish people who go wrong and also to maintain justice in the community. So why is one considered to be bad and the other one considered to be good? This is again the doing of the media, and hopefully we are going to change that. Now let us talk about science, because a lot of people think that Islam is always against science, forgetting that the greatest scientific advancements were all inspired by Muslims. Now during the golden age of Islam, scholars like Al-Khwarizmi, who was considered the father of algebra, wrote a book called Al-Kitab al-Mukhtasar fi Hisab al-Jabir wal-Muqabala. And when we are talking about modern mathematics, Al-Khwarizmi is the one who laid that foundation for modern mathematics. That is not all. Ibn Sina also contributed massively when it comes to medicine. He wrote a book called Al-Kanun fi Tibb, that is the canon of medicine. And in that book, he talked about pharmacology, he talked about diseases, and also talked about medical ethics, which has been used for centuries both in the Islamic world and in the European world as a standard medical text. Al-Razi, on the other hand, also worked on smallpox and measles even before Edward Jenner developed a vaccine for smallpox. And Al-Radi, in his book called Kitab al-Jadari wal-Hasba, also already differentiated between smallpox and measles and also gave out the clinical guidelines on how to actually diagnose it and also treat it. So when it comes to science, we have been there since time immemorial. But then the question now is, why don't we know about these scholars and why don't we hear about them in our schools? Well, let me tell you something. You know that the European people are very smart and they have a hand in this exercise of actually shutting down these scholars. You'll probably not believe me, but in the next episode, I'm going to break it down for you. So if you are new to this channel, subscribe to the channel, put on some post notification and like this video. Finally, one of the biggest misconceptions about Islam is that we force people to join Islam. Now, in the first place, Muslims do not force people to join Islam. Forcing someone to join Islam is actually against the Quran, which says that La ikra fi din. That is, there is no compulsion in religion. And Islam historically spread through peaceful means like trade and education. And all the people that actually joined Islam were not forced. Rather, they joined Islam because they found something that is right for them and then they followed it. Nothing is wrong with that. Yet we will have people who will still say that Islam is forcing people to join their religion. I just hope that these people will see this particular video because of your like and also your comment and then join this amazing community so that together with them we can start to change the negative narrative people have about Islam and Muslims in the world. And as always, it is going to start with you. Now until we meet again, Shalom.